No one will know that better than us. And I think the UN should see Africa as partners. And the United Nations, definitely, you cannot have 7 countries vetoing everything. When it comes to Africa issue, it is those 7 countries. Who are the countries that are actually exploiting Africa? They're the ones who have the veto power to make decision on anything that has to do with Africa. So for me, I think that is wrong. And that is one thing the president of Sierra Leone has campaigned for. And this year, Sierra Leone is now a non-permanent member at the United Nations. But yet still, we don't have a veto power. But we're there. At least we are getting closer. And in these 2 years, our mission is to get the United Nations to see Africa not as one country. Because that's the mistake they do. When you say I'm from Africa, they say, oh, you're from Nigeria. I said, no, Nigeria is one country in Africa. You know, we have 54 countries in Africa. So see us as a continent that also, what we offer to the world, Europe does not have it. What Africa gives to the world, Europe don't have it, America don't have it, Asia don't have it. Because we are not mining in China, we are not doing any mining in America or mining in Europe. But they're doing it in every part of Africa. Not just Sierra Leone, go to Democratic Republic of Congo, go to Botswana, go to Angola, go everywhere there is mineral resources. It is the West and the Chinese.
Welcome back, guys. It is your guy Lit, and in this particular episode here, we're going to talk about this particular lady here. She has the audacity to question the integrity of the West, and especially in this particular context here, she's referring to the UN. And why is it that Africans have always been sidelined? Is there a good reason as to why Africans cannot maybe measure up to the standards or to the expectations? And what criteria do they look, for when maybe they're choosing the members to represent maybe their interest at that particular level? So I find it that she, in as much as that it was, it came from her, and okay, good. It will really tell us more that you see what even the least have these particular lingering questions at the back of the mind of why Africans have always been sidelined and looked down upon in matters that are so sensitive, like representations at the UN Council, and that the only people who are there are the ones who have got the vetoing power, that they can decide that this is what is going to happen here, and no any other person can have a say. And I do not know, but I also do stand corrected. Do drop us your comments on the comment section. Let us exactly know what you think of. Does it come with some muscle? Like you have to have such kind of an economy. You must have maybe done this. You must have done this and this and this. I don't know which criteria they exactly use, but then she has a point. Let's keep on watching, and then I'll come back at the end of the video with more comments over the same.
Problems that come from that. The many sequelae of extraction include inadequate remaining resources to develop as a state, to do all the things that people want to do for themselves. Provide education, provide health care. So I wonder, as we think just as 2 citizens of the world committed to a better humanity, where do we go from here? Do you have any practical ideas about where we might start? Or collective ideas that we might gain support for?
I feel Africa, patriotism is very important. You have to love your country to want your country to be a better place. Patriotism, I think we have to have that sense of patriotism in our countries, and our leaders also should be subjected to that. It is not only when you were talking about election and then everybody come out and celebrate, and after election, that's it. Accountability. Who accounts for what is happening? Who is the one who is changing the narrative of what is happening? Like I said, as a First Lady, I am not part of a government system. I am a wife of a president. So when I speak on behalf of the people, because I understand what the people are going through. At the end of the day, I'm not being paid salary, and I cannot be fired either. So that's the advantage. That's the advantage of being a first lady. But I believe that for Africa, what is happening in Africa today, it need to change, and it need to change now. There is no time like now, because for Sierra Leone, we now have a president who believes that we cannot wait for other people to come and develop us. We cannot wait for another country to come and prescribe how our country should be run or what we need in our country. You know, this divide and rule, if you're close to China, we will not come to your country. If you're close to America, we will not come to your country. I mean, the fight that is between England, Europe, America, China, Russia is not a Sierra Leone fight. That's not our problem. We're fighting for our daily bread. We're looking to have education, just like America. We're looking to have good health facility. Just like Europe, we're looking to have governance structure where one single person cannot be the dictator of a nation. That's what we're looking for. And in that process, we're going to be allies to everybody who wants us to grow. But if we now align ourselves with someone, and then this other person now feel offended that, oh, you know, I'm coming from China now. I flew in, I mean, I've gone around the world to get to Boston, you know. I went to China and then come here. Before here, I went to England and then flew into America. For me, I'm not restricted where I should go or who I should be talking to. I am going around the world to see a country that sees Africa not as not just as an ally of what you'll be getting from us, but a country that sees Sierra Leone as partners and treat us with respect. You cannot be coming to our country and take everything that will make us develop, and then you still treat us as inferior people, as if we don't know what we're doing. I think that is wrong. You know, we're looking for partners that value us. People that will come to our country and say, you know what, this country has suffered enough, they need to grow. We were once the atom of Africa. Every country within sub-Saharan Africa used to come to Sierra Leone for our education. And today, what can we be proud of? We cannot talk about education in Sierra Leone because they've ruined that for us. Everything that has empowered Sierra Leone has been ruined. And now we have a leader who wants to fix everything. There is a problem. In Africa, you should not have a leader that is assertive, a leader that knows what his people want, a leader that wants to change what is happening. The moment you have that, it's everyone's target. And then they find reason to slow you down, they find reason to stop you, and they use that system of corruption. They use corrupt people, they use negative people, they use unpatriotic citizens to come after a government who is doing what is right for a system. I think we need to address those issues. Unfortunately, I don't know I'm very good at name calling, but at the moment, I don't know who I should be screaming at.
I think that's one of the consequences of a system gone wrong, that there's no single individual responsible.
No.
There's no single place to go for a solution. It is difficult to find a way forward. And I think we can return to some of those themes later on in our discussion. But I wanted to ask you, and this is in a very pragmatic way, your Hands Off Our Girls program. I wanted to ask you, who's addressed in Hands Off Our Girls? That instruction is given to who?
The Hands Off Our Girls is for everyone. When I say everyone, when I became the First Lady in 2018, the state of our country was disgraceful. It was disgusting. I mean, babies as young as 6 months were being raped by men. Yes. And that's the reality. So there was no one out there to actually say it as it is. There is no one out there to say, no, we've had enough. And every time there's this excuse to say, oh, it was because of the war. Our war had finished 20 years ago. We cannot live in a war mentality after 20 years. We need to move on from that. And that's the reason why I'm very unapologetic when it comes to the Hands Off Our Girls campaign. I will call your name. I don't care your status. I don't care who you are. I would name and shame you and let the whole country know you're one of them. And what we have done through the Hands Off Our Girls, I'm not saying it's amazing, but it has changed the way people think and the way people behave. And a behavioral change is one of the most difficult things for every society. But with the Hands Off Our Girls campaign, the perpetrators know the person who is at the front of that campaign is not joking.
I admire that. And I think that's probably why in 2023, UNAIDS appointed you as a champion for adolescent girls and young women. I'd like to pursue this question of accountability. Let me think about this. I think the circumstances you were talking about of low participation in national affairs, missing accountability for criminal actions, and then the need to change culture. That culture change is probably at the basis of our most fundamental problems. It conditions the way people look at each other, the way they respect each other. It also influences the way nations interact. At the beginning of our conversation, we were talking about the theft of resources by some countries from others. And here, where we're talking about individually perpetrated crimes on a mass scale, we're thinking about the same needs for accountability. So here, I know many of these things become personal for you, but I'm wondering, are there some next steps that you could envision us taking, either as domestic policy initiatives, with either regard to a particular country or not, or as international citizens that might help us rethink the way nations interact with each other? Is there something that we could do from citizen to citizen that might help change these dynamics?
Well, I think, respect for one another is very important, and the love for one another and compassion for one another is very important. That is what we have lacked for a very long time in a place like Sierra Leone. And again, whenever you bring up such conversation, they will try to make reference to the war. I don't think respecting a woman, you need 20 years to understand that a woman deserves to be respected. I don't think so. I just believe it's a macho thing. It's where men feel like they are just superior and women are inferior beings, and that we have to be silenced, that they could do whatever they want to do and get away with it because there's no one to ask them why. I think that's what has gone on for far too long in Sierra Leone. And with the advent of the Hands Off Our Girls campaign, they see it as having